here's the deal. It's very simple. If this team refuses to hit like they've done the last 5 years in the playoffs, they're not going anywhere. I'm still very confident that they're going to beat the Guardians just of sheer because they're just better than them. But, I mean, if we do escape this series, they're not going anywhere against Houston. It's not happening if this kind of keeps going, right? We're looking at only Stanton, sort of, and Rizzo hitting. Again, I don't get it. Aaron Judge, in my opinion, is fully to blame here. You are the leader of the team. You can't go from having one of the most spectacular offensive seasons of the last ever to going 0 for your first 8 with 7 strikeouts in the first 2 games of the division series. You can't do it. And not only are you setting the tone for the entire rest of the lineup, but, I mean, it can't be physical. It's not mechanical. I don't even want to hear the excuse that they're cold, they've had a bunch of days off. It makes no difference. You cannot go from being disciplined at the plate to completely opening up and just, I mean, again, you're 0 for 8 with 7 strikeouts. I'll again give him one more pass. I said it on the pregame. The first game was what it was. I didn't blame him at all for it. If he had a problem in the second game, it's still like, okay, if tomorrow he has an issue, it's a full-blown problem for this team. If you go down the lineup, right, like I said, it's just very frustrating to see. I think hitters 5 through 9, including the pinch hitters, they went like 0 for 16 with 7 strikeouts. That cannot happen. There was some bad luck. Now we can get to the Boone's. We can get to Aaron Boone's decision to put in Tyone rather than Clark Schmidt. I don't really have an issue with it. The bullpen was rolling. The team was doing their thing, and hindsight is obviously 20/20. I don't have an issue with it, but he got horrendously unlucky. And I do think that Donaldson was a little bit to blame if he doesn't kind of keep moving on that ball, the blooper between third and left. I think Cabrera can make that play. I think he was hesitant because of the collision. Either way, though, bloop base hit that turns into a triple, and then another bloop base hit, and the game's pretty much over. Okay, Clase, yeah, he's a great closer, but I mean, first of all, he had no control, and the guy behind the plate was not helping us out whatsoever. It was just a bad game. You can't score 2 runs in the first inning and then not score for the next 9 innings or 8 innings, whatever. Yeah, 8 innings. You can't do it. It's just not going to be a successful formula in the playoffs. And the reason why I'm just so frustrated is because this is every time. Nestor didn't pitch badly at all. He didn't have his good stuff, and he battled through it, right? He gave us, I think, 5 innings, I want to say. That's not horrible. He kept us in the game. It was a 2-2 ball game when he came out of that game, and the bullpen did their job. One of the best offenses in the MLB, the second highest run scored in the MLB, with I believe the second highest differential, cannot put up 2 runs and not score in the last 8 innings of a playoff game at home. You cannot do it. There was so many times to come through. Unfortunately, I hate to admit it, I think Cabrera is a little bit pressing because he's a rookie. But, I mean, either way, he didn't come through in that big bases-loaded spot. You have Higashioka, who hit the ball in the screws, and it just, unfortunately, was right to Ramirez. You're going to have things like that, but you can't make it a scenario where your star player, who has one of the best plate disciplines in the league this year, is now a joke. You're looking at Yordan Alvarez on the other side of the country right now. It's polar opposites between him and Judge, and it makes Judge look bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, right? I really don't have anything else to say. I'm pretty confident Sevy is going to fucking grab his dick and balls and have a fucking night tomorrow. I really do. I don't know numbers. I'm not going to predict numbers, but I think that he not only keeps you in the ball game, I think that he's going to show why he is a top-tier talent in the MLB, and he's just honestly, it's been a little unfortunate with the injuries. But they have to score. Tomorrow is a must-win. You can play all this mental gymnastics where, okay, well, even if you lose, then you have Cole to tie it up, and then you have Nestor in your Game 5 back in the Bronx. You can't think that way at all because you make one mistake. You have a couple lucky bloop hits like we did today on Game 4 or 5, and guess what? Your season's over. You can't have it happen. So tomorrow is an absolute must-win, and there's not really much more to say about it. I'm very frustrated. Bob Costas is now starting to really annoy me. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to hear a whole fucking history lesson about just baseball in general while I'm watching my team play for their lives, right? I want to hear about maybe and Brendan Tierney was saying this, maybe play some or talk about some stuff that's happening this year or the last couple years. I think actually Tiki Barber said that. I don't want to hear this lesson of series from years and years and years ago from the 40s and 50s, okay? Now, you pair that with, in my opinion, horrendous umpiring the first 2 games behind the plate and some bad luck on the Yankees' part with also some kind of just nervousness where they're just not hitting, it's a recipe for disaster. They got fucked over a little bit too with the rain, with the, like we said on the pregame, with basically a week off, 2 days, or a game on and 2 days off, and now 4 in a row. And you just lost today, so now you're definitely going 4. You're definitely playing 3 games in a row. But again, not a panic. You got to come out tomorrow and hit. That's it. Sevy pitches a good game, which he's very capable of doing. I mean, his last start, he basically was going to throw a no-no. You get the job done with the bats. But if the bats don't wake up, the season's over. Now, looking forward, even though I hate to do this, if they were to advance, the Yankees, I don't think they're touching Houston because Houston is not – they're not built this way. They don't have this like beta mentality of crumbling when it counts. They don't have it. They rise to the occasion even more so when they're on the road. So you're looking around the league, you're seeing Rob Thompson's Phillies now, and I'm really happy for him when he was talking about how, like, he's 58 now. And this is the first time anyone's known who he is, right? It's been 58 years, and no one knew him. And he got emotional. I think that was amazing, and I hope the Phillies go deep. I do. I'm shocked what they're doing. I think the Braves are still way better than them. But listen, they're beating them. They're just straight out, flat out beating them. So my prediction for Braves over Phillies is not looking too good. I still like the Padres over the Dodgers. That was my pick, and I'm sticking with it. The game's on literally as we speak. So if I had to get, and then clearly Stroh's over Mariners. So we're setting up for probably a Phillies Padres NLDS. I still think the Braves squeak it out. I do. So let's just assume that. But it's still going to be a dicey series regardless. I think San Diego, if they do win against the Dodgers, they have a lot of charisma. They have a lot of swagger right now, a lot of momentum. And Juan Soto just kind of woke up a little bit, just hit a leadoff double in the game. They have great bats, and they have great starting pitching. And if Hader kind of stays where he's been, he's a shutdown closer. So I like the Padres a lot. They're coming hot at the right time. It's good for them. We'll see what happens in that Braves-Phillies series. If the Phillies win, I think the Padres walk to the World Series. If the Braves win, I think the Braves will probably beat them. But either way, it's a little bit more out in the open in the NL. In the AL, the Astros are clearly going to waltz into the ALCS as they've done the last 5 years. And the Yankees, if they get their heads out of their asses and start hitting, and it's all, again, starts with Aaron Judge, then maybe they'll join them. But I think that when that series goes down, as a Yankee fan, I'm going to be rooting very hard, and I think we have a chance, clearly. But, I mean, I think Houston's going to really just punch us in the mouth. I think at best it's a 6-game series. But we'll see. Let's get that. Let's get to that when we can. We got to focus tomorrow, pitch by pitch, on Severino. Some positives. Clay Holmes, I thought, did look good, even though he lost his control a little bit. He's still managing to get through. Loizaga looked good. Peralta looked great. And now we know when a guy hasn't pitched in relief his whole career, and you have a guy in Clark Schmidt who is talented, who has pitched in relief in high leverage for a lot of times this year, why don't you throw him first? If he gets into trouble, then bring Tyone in, not the opposite. So I think there is some fault with Boone, but not enough where you can blame anything on him. I think this was a complete joke in terms of the fans blaming Boone. This is clearly the lineup's issue. And until guys, and I hate to say it, but Bader can't be having 3 pitch at bats all the time, until Oswaldo Cabrera can wake up. I also think, I get that he gives us a great glove, and I'm the biggest Oswaldo Cabrera fan. I have been forever. I even said probably yesterday that I'm hoping they gave him another chance in lineup today, which they did. I think it might be time to make the switch and start Carpenter in left field, or whatever, put him in right field, and then put Judge in center. I don't know. I actually don't know, but I think Carpenter has to be in the lineup for a full slate. He has to get about 4 at-bats, or at least 3 at-bats, because something needs to wake up. IKF looks good. That's a positive. I think Donaldson has put together some good at-bats. So there's a lot of potential. Again, this is not a panic. I'm still very much confident in the Yankees' ability to beat Cleveland and go to the ALCS, but it's not going to happen without any hitting. So that's really my take. Tomorrow I'm going to be getting obliterated in the city. So, I mean, my friends have been making jokes about how because we lost today, they're not going to remember a pitch from tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to get that crazy, but what I do know is that it's going to be a bunch of us, the squad, basically watching this team and hopefully watching them win. It's going to be very, very bleak if they don't, but let's hope they do. So, yeah, Johnny Kiss signing off, and let's fucking win Game 3. Please, please.